Okay, hi everyone. Today I'm going to be explaining a really common problem that students have coming from Italian into English, which is using the apostrophe S, also known as genitivo sassone, and combining when we have multiple nouns, so più sostantivi, noun meaning sostantivo. Okay, first of all, you must use the apostrophe S, which I prefer to call it in English, when you are talking about things which specific people or animals have or possess. Okay, so like la macchina di Martin, la sorella di Jessica, il cuscino del cane diventa Martin's car, Jessica's sister, the dog's cushion. It would be wrong to say the car of Martin, the sister of Jessica, the cushion of the dog, and so on. Okay, here's some other combinations we have. If it's plural, such as my parents, the S, the apostrophe comes after the S. If it's a plural noun, such as children, then the apostrophe comes between the N and the S. If it's two or more people, Jackie and Alan, it comes after the final person. It could be even a bit longer, such as the manager of the firm, the Duchess of Cambridge, the people next door, in which case the apostrophe S comes at the end of those nouns. If it's a name that has an S, such as Charles, the correct way is S apostrophe S. Okay, so those are just some examples. Have a look at them. Moving on, when else can you use the possessive S? Sometimes with specific entities that are governed by a group of people or sort of represent a group of people, and this is a bit abstract. I'm not going to hold this down to an absolute rule, but as a general rule, this does make sense. So, for example, Hyde Park or the park, you could say with apostrophe S, that would be fine. Or you could even say the park gardener. Sort of park gardener as a general compound noun. The school's new staff, so the new staff pertaining to this specific school, or school staff also exists as a general compound noun. Our university's policy, so again with the specific policy belonging to this university, but again, university policy also exists as a general compound noun. Okay, and then the same thing with the company's HR director, the company director. Cities and countries also can have the apostrophe S, so Milan's churches, Russia's economy, but you could also say the churches of Milan or the Russian economy. Yeah, so you can use the apostrophe S in these examples on the left here, but with all of them, you could also just make a compound noun using a preposition of, as in these examples I've given here. Sometimes we use the apostrophe S with time. So in 3 weeks' time, or just in 3 weeks is also possible. Today's lesson, last night's news report, yesterday's news. Okay, and then these are also possible. You can also use apostrophe S to mean da qualcuno in Italian. So I'm going to Marco's. We're celebrating Easter at my sister's. I'll see you at the dentist's. Okay, so apart from these examples that I've given, do not use the apostrophe S. Just don't use it. It could be possible in some cases, but I'm just going to say as a general rule, avoid it. Don't use it. Use a construction with a preposition such as of. Okay, now compound nouns. As you know, there are many, many compound nouns which exist already in English. I've given a link for a nice long list of common ones. They can be formed with nouns, adverbs, verbs, or adjectives. Sometimes they can be combined, either with two words stuck together like race car, hyphenated with ice cream, or just two separate words, such as bike lane. And in these cases, obviously, the first word functions as the adjective, race, ice, bike, while the second word functions as the primary noun, car, ice cream, lane. So the first word describes what type of noun. So like it's a car, a race car is a car for racing or in a race. What type of cream? Ice cream. What is the lane for? Is for a bike. So the first word is describing or telling about the second word, which is the main noun. Now, these words formed over time sort of arbitrarily, sort of randomly, in the sense that why one would be two words or hyphenated or not. There's not really a logic to that. It just depends on how it came to be, where it was in that point in space and time. So, for example, these three I mentioned here, but also for like washing machine. So washing machine is a machine for washing, but jump rope is a rope for jumping. Why don't we say jumping rope? We just don't say it. It doesn't exist. You have to learn it that way. And then sometimes like, okay, tabletop, put the glass on the tabletop, but we don't really say table bottom. It's stuck to the table bottom. No, we say the bottom of the table. Again, this is kind of arbitrary as to why one is that way, the other is different. Sometimes, not with too many of common nouns, but there may be a difference, such as wine glass. So say, I need a wine glass. That means the object for the wine. While a glass of wine means a glass that is full of wine that you're going to drink. Okay. Now, whether you can simply put two nouns together. Okay, and again, this video is for people who are speaking Italian. These same rules may apply to some other languages such as Spanish, Portuguese, or French, but I'm thinking of students coming from the Italian language. So in the Italian language, there are some compound nouns, but in most cases there is a construction with a preposition. Okay, so for example, here, fuel prices. In Italian, you would not say carburante prezzi. You would say I prezzi del carburante. O anche I prezzi dei carburanti, which has then the primary noun comes first, then there's a preposition, and then there's the secondary descriptive noun. So in English, though, you have to put fuel prices. Okay, so when you're translating from Italian, I prezzi dei carburanti, you could just say prices of fuel. That would be fine. But this noun, fuel prices, already exists in English, so you can use it. Okay, next example, olio del motore. You could say oil for the engine, or you could say engine oil because that word exists. Okay, la lotta per la libertà. Martin Luther King Day reminds us of the freedom struggle. No, this noun does not exist. The struggle for freedom would be correct. So again, as I said, a construction with a preposition. Problemi con le traduzioni dei verbi, verb translation problems. Could be fine to say this. Yeah, it sounds okay to me, but maybe better problems with verb translation or problems translating verbs. Okay, a stick for walking. Quindi il coso, l'appoggio per camminare. We could say a walking stick or a stick for walking. Ok, la brutalità della polizia o la violenza della polizia. si dice brutality by police or police brutality. Ok? I problemi della trust o fiducia, issues of trust or trust issues. Fine. Now, un motivo per la disoccupazione, non possiamo dire the coronavirus is an unemployment reason. This compound noun does not exist. It sounds strange. So you should say a reason for or behind unemployment. Or un effetto della siccità, we wouldn't really say drought effect. You could say an effect of drought. So a pattern that I'm kind of recognizing here, I mean, there's sort of like a bunch of just random, I would say, common nouns that have come to exist together, these combined nouns. But when you start talking about sort of more abstract phenomena or notions, I would say it's less likely that the compound noun already exists for that expression. Okay, whereas something like fuel prices or ice cream or water bottle is a really common, concrete, real thing, while un motivo per la disoccupazione, an unemployment reason, is a very kind of abstract thing. So that's kind of a guideline that might help you decide when you're translating. Okay, another point is that combined or compound nouns, I've given some examples of 2 or 3 together, but they could even be 4, 5, or 6 words long, such as Government Road Accident Research Center, che sarebbe il centro della ricerca o che fa ricerca sugli incidenti automobilistici, il centro poi che appartiene o è gestito dal governo. Or, Trump Corporation Data Leak Scandal Secretary. Quindi la segretaria che faceva parte dello scandalo della uscita dei dati relativo alla Trump Corporation. So in English, a lot of times, yeah, you can just put these together and it's shorter, right, than it is in Italian. Okay, however, do not, I repeat, do not use the apostrophe S with these types of combined nouns. So don't say the works world, well, not even these, I mean, but all of the ones I've explained previously. Okay, this is just an example. So as a rule with combining nouns, do not use the apostrophe S. Okay, you'll just probably get it wrong and it'll be weird. Don't use the plural either. Okay, so for example, a tree full of cherries is a cherry tree. A cabinet for shoes is a shoe cabinet. Some shelves with books are bookshelves. Okay, so if it's a singular to plural noun, you don't make it plural, even though it would be plural. Okay. Apart from a few exceptions, which are these. So some nouns end with S, but they're actually singular or uncountable. So news, politics, Pilates, and ethics, they don't have a singular form. So if you use them, you keep them in the plural. Similar to here, like clothes, arms, sales, or customs, oh, well, that's basically the same thing as before. Okay. Yeah, so these nouns only really exist in the plural, or they are singular, but they have an S. Okay. Another thing is that when we're referring to groups of people, we often, not always, but often use the plural and apostrophe S, such as women's clothing, men's health, children's toys, and people's rights. And you could not say women clothing. Okay, you would really need to use the apostrophe S because it's people and the people are plural and so. Okay, another kind of tedious point here, which if you're getting bored with my explanation, skip ahead. These are just some details that certain more interested or nerdly people such as myself may appreciate more. So you may see in the news, for example, these types of pairings, constructions, where I could say, for example, if there's a person involved, the Botticelli painting or Botticelli's painting. Now, this is, the difference is rather subtle, but if I'm talking about the Botticelli painting, I'm talking about a painting, and that painting has to do with Botticelli. If I say Botticelli's painting, I'm thinking of him, and the painting was belonging to him, it was by him, it was his. Okay, the famous affair and scandal of the early 90s, or rather late 90s, which many of you will not remember. Anyway, there was a famous scandal with President Clinton who was behaving very inappropriately with his intern in the Oval Office of the White House. And so this scandal is referred to the Lewinsky-Clinton affair. So in this form, there's no apostrophe S because it's relating to or having to do with Lewinsky and Clinton. Lewinsky was the young woman involved with Clinton. Or it was also referred to the Lewinsky scandal. So again, relating to or having to do with Lewinsky, not belonging to her. But if I said la carriera della Lewinsky e la reputazione di Clinton, userei l'apostrophe. So I would use genitivo sassone, apostrophe S, or I sentimenti della Lewinsky, Lewinsky's feelings. Okay, and here there is no the. So if you refer to it as kind of like a general thing having to do with that person, or specific, you use the, but if you use the person, you don't say the Lewinsky's career. Okay. Now moving on, one you have heard of plenty, I'm sure, the Trump administration. So again, this is, you're thinking of the administration of like ministers and politicians who are related to Trump. While if you say Trump's administration, this refers to the people that belong to him or are under him. And of course, he prefers the second. He likes, oh, this is Trump's administration. Like everything belongs to him. Okay. Or a New Zealand school would be a school in New Zealand or like belonging to New Zealand in New Zealand, while New Zealand's schools, oh wait, no, I misspoke previously. A New Zealand school would be a school like of New Zealand having to do with New Zealand. While if I wanted to make it possessive, New Zealand's schools, I would have no article, okay? Because, yeah. Okay, moving on. Let's take some nouns and try to combine them. So, la maniglia dell'ombrello. The umbrella handle is possible, but I would rather say the handle of the umbrella, maybe these two. The umbrella's handle, no. Il vocabolario della lingua greca. The dictionary of the Greek language is okay, but it's a bit long. The Greek language dictionary sounds good together. And with the apostrophe S, no. Il mondo del lavoro. The world of work, yes. The work world, no. The working world, no. Again, why? Logically, you could form one of these, But because nobody ever says that, you really can't say it. You have to learn the correct form, the world of work. Ok, l'esame sulla fisiologia dei mammiferi, the mammal physiology exam is fine, or these two are okay, but they're a bit long. Il tasso di nascita tra o delle donne del XXI secolo. The first one is okay. This one is better. These two, no way. They are not correct. And I would not use the apostrophe S here, even if it is women, it's people, okay, but it's not the birth rate belonging to the women. It's the birth rate of the women having to do with the women, among women. Okay, so it's really not correct to use the apostrophe S here. L'uomo dei miei sogni. The man of my dreams, yes. My dreams man, no. My dream guy, yes. These are fine, no. My dreams man. Okay, moving on. Okay, so wrapping everything up here. When you're combining nouns, there's no clear rule as to which one have to go together, stuck together, separate, with a hyphen, with ing. Okay, you have to know that specific combination. If you don't know that that specific combination exists, don't just put two words together. Okay, use a preposition like all the examples I gave. Put them together with a preposition and a construction, or if you can, check if the word, the compound word exists with Google, an online dictionary, or language corpus. Okay, and here are my here's my checklist for review. So remember that when you are describing things that specific people or animals, because pets are linguistically people. If an animal is a member of a family, or even in other cases, honestly, you can refer to animals as he or she and thus possessing. You can use S when describing things that an entity possesses, such as a school, university, etc. You can sometimes use S for time or da qualcuno. Avoid using S for any other combination. Okay, just as I said, generally avoid it, and do not make the noun as adjective plural. Okay, now here we have some mistakes to review. And I'm going to write the answers to these below in the comments below this video, because I don't have time to type them all up now. So that's it. I hope you found my video useful, and have a good one.